Sandwich loaf, that bread that we don't value enough. Many of us have it in the fridge. Others have it abandoned somewhere in the kitchen. But it is always there, in the good times, to make us a delicious sandwich, a crunchy toast, or when we need a hug. That's why I'm here to vindicate it by making the most fluffy and tender sandwich loaf you've ever eaten. Guten Morgen, everyone! As I told you before, today we are going to bake sandwich loaf. And I promise from this moment on that if you make this recipe, you will never buy again bread at the store. Because this loaf is so easy to do, super tasty, and as I heard, really healthy. Or not. But before we start with the recipe, let me give you some tips. For this bread, we're going to use mostly bread flour and a little bit of whole wheat flour. In case you don't want to use whole wheat flour, you can use the same bread flour, or maybe you could use spelt flour, rye flour, semolina flour, or the one that you have at home. Another important tip when mixing is to use the paddle instead of the typical hook. This way, you're going to mix the dough more efficiently and faster. And talking about mixing, this is not a matter of time, because it depends on the mixer that we're using, the speed that we're mixing, and of course, the flour that we're using. But what we need to do is to look for this. That's the gluten membrane. That means that the mixing is ready. This recipe uses cow milk and butter. In case you want to change one of these ingredients, you could use almond milk, soy milk, and for the butter you can use canola oil, for example. This loaf weighs 500 grams, and for that I'm going to use this mold, which is 10 inches long, 2 inches tall, and 2 inches wide. But you can also use another kind of mold like this, cake mold, or maybe this one from Richard Bertinet. It's cute. And the last tip that I give you is that when the bread is already baked, it is really easy to slice it, put it in a bag, and take it to the freezer for later. And now let's see the recipe. Remember that you can download my app, Guten Morgen Baker's Percentage, for free for Android or iPhone. So now it's time to start mixing. In the mixer bowl, we put the bread flour. Now we add the whole wheat flour. And now here comes the sourdough starter, which always needs to be really active. Hold a second. If you want to learn more about sourdough, don't miss my sourdough masterclass, in which I'm going to teach you how to make your sourdough starter from scratch, and with it I'm going to show you how to make an incredible country loaf too. Don't miss this masterclass. Start today. Here is the link. Now a little bit of yeast, totally optional, salt, a few drops of honey, and water. Now we start the mixer, and slowly we add the milk, and as soon we have a dough, we start adding the butter. Now we speed the mixer, just a few minutes more. And the dough is looking really good, almost there. And now it's time to check that membrane. Remember the tip that I gave you before? Wow, it's perfectly translucent. That means that the dough is ready. Mixing ready. Now let me put it in a bowl and we'll let it rise. Good, the dough has doubled in size, so now it's time to put it on the counter and start shaping the bread. Now I divide it into 3 pieces. And with each piece, I'm going to shape a ball, giving some tension. Let's go to the second one, really easy. And here is the third one. And with this rolling pin, I'm going to stretch them. Let's go with the first one. Not too much, just a little. Now I'm going to roll it into itself. Let's do it again with the second one. Let's do the last one. And now that they are rolled, we have to do it one more time. Here we go again, but this time we're going to stretch it a little bit more. It's like a tongue. Time for the second. Stretching, rolling into itself, and the last one. Now it's time to spray some oil in the mold. And now time to put the rolls into the mold. Now there is a lot of room, but this bread is going to grow a lot. The bread is in the mold. Now I'm going to brush it with egg wash. To make the egg wash is really easy. We just need equal parts of egg and milk. Mix it. Time to brush the bread. Yes, we need to cover it up. And here comes, but totally optional, a rain of seeds. And now we just need to let it proof. I want you to pay attention to this. Of course, the bread is ready to go into the oven. But if you look closer, you'll see that it has not risen out of the mold yet. The rest that it needs to grow is going to happen in the oven. And here I present to you this amazing sandwich loaf. And as always, the best part, tasting. Oh, this is bread. So fluffy, moist, incredible. But I think there's still something missing. Yeah, hold a second. What did I say? Now, this is a complete sandwich loaf. Guten Morgen, everyone. Is my hair okay? Okay, looking good. You've ever eaten. To vindicate it and make the most fluffy and and with it, I'll show you how to bake an incredible salad on the counter loaf. And as I heard,